Welcome back to Conquest of Nerath. We are still doing the Karkoth Emperor, Dark Empire of the Karkoth, which is the Undead player. And we have 2 battles left to do. We're in the fight battles phase. So right here, we're going to do this one first. It's a human land. We have a dragon, a siege engine, a storm elemental, and 2 foot soldiers. And so that's going to give us this big pile of dice to roll for the attack. And on the defense, we have a stone giant and 2 foot soldiers, so they're going to get 2d6 and 1d12. All right, let's get to rolling dice and see if the undead Karkoth units can take out the human defense. Okay, so there's no wizard, so there's no first strike abilities, so we're just going to roll that pile of attack dice and a 6+ hits. And we only have 1 7, and the dragon hits on 16. So we only have 2 hits. And there are 3 units for the men there. So let's remember we have 2 hits for Karkoth. I'll just leave the 2 up there. And now we're going to roll the 2 foot soldiers for the men and the stone giant. So that's 2d6 and a d12. And they get 2, 2, and 2, which means they get absolutely no hits at all. So they're going to lose 2 foot soldiers. Come off. They only have their stone giant left, and we are going to press the attack. So we're going to continue. We haven't lost anything. We get to roll a giant wad of dice again. This time we get an 8. We get a 9. That's 2 hits. So we have 2 more hits. That's going to destroy the stone giant. But of course, stone giant gets to retaliate before he is completely destroyed, and he gets to roll his attack die at d12, and he rolls a 9, which is a hit. However, as we know, dragons have the ability, and it is called durable. They can take 1 hit. You flip them over. Before they're destroyed, they need to take 2 hits. So our dragon is just going to take a hit. So we're not going to actually lose any units off the board. So that's pretty cool. Let's go back to the board, and we'll deal with that. All right, so our Karkoth units totally wipe out the Raven Chieftain. We have our damaged dragon here, but he's going to be able to recover and heal. That is going to put 1 more conquest token on that space. It was a human space, Nerathian space, and so we're going to go to the victory point tracker, and we're going to get another point for the Karkoth and Goblinoid Iron Circle Alliance. Okay, that's going to take the Evil Alliance from 4 points up to 5. Let's go back to the board. We have 1 more battle left in the fight battles sequence. All right, so how I thought I'd do the next battle is I took the pieces off the board. I generally don't like doing it because then I usually put them back in the wrong space. And at the end of this video, there are a couple of pieces in the wrong space. They will be corrected for the next video. So this is shot a little bit out of sequence. I apologize for that. But bear with me, everything will be straightened out by the next video, which will be the elves. However, right now, our second battle, the undead versus the humans, we have 2 siege engines, a fighter, and a foot soldier versus 2 foot soldiers. So we're going to roll 4 d8s, 1d6, 1d10. So we're going to do that. And we get the foot soldier hitting. We get 1, 2, 3. Wow, we have 4 hits, easily wiping out the 2 foot soldier. So these guys, are eliminated. However, they do get to roll because they are simultaneous attack. And they roll 2 5s, not good enough to hit any of our units. And so that is going to be that. So like I said, things on the board may look a little bit units in the wrong place. Bear with me, it will be fixed for the following video. So that's the end of this battle. Okay. Let's go back to the board. All right, so once again, Karkoth is just crashing their way into the human lands, this time after they've dealt with the dwarves, the elves. And of course, another token of dominance is going to go on the space, and that's going to give them 1 more victory point. So let's go to the victory point track and see where they're sitting now. All right, the alliance between Karkoth and the Iron Circle moves from 5 points to 6. And as I mentioned before, once we get to 20 points, that will trigger the end game. So whichever team has 20 or more points at the end of a full round, which means everyone gets a turn, will be the winner. All right, back to the main board. We are now done with fight battles, and we're into reposition. So I'll explain what that is, and we'll do that. All right, so how reposition works is it says your flying units can move again, and heroes must exit the dungeon. And so I'm just going to do the flying units first. So we have our dragon here, which at the end of the battle is going to fully heal. He gets to fly again, so he can move 3 spaces. And I think we're going to fly him across the land here, 1, 2, 3, and land him over here to shore up this little island province, which you couldn't see, but I flew him down here to shore up the 2 warrior skeletons here on the island. The other flying unit we have is the Storm Elemental, and I'm going to move it, where do I want to move it? I think I'm going to move it into the Emilian Sea right here, kind of forming a bit of a blockade here, so that if the human player tries to take a ship through here, he's not going to have the best. Actually, that's not the best place to put it. I'm going to put it into Forbidden Shore so that they can't bring a boat easily in here to land troops there. Okay, so that is reposition, and now we're into reinforce. And the reinforce phase means you buy units, you place units, and you can move the new units you place. So unlike Axis and Allies, where at the end of your turn you just place new units at one of your industrial complexes, in this game you place new units on one of your castle spaces, and they can immediately move. So the hordes pour out of the castle and get to do a movement as well. And for clarification, the capital of the faction can put as many pieces on the board as they like, and any other castles they have on the board can only produce 4 pieces at the most. All right, so we're going to do the buy, and we have a total of 12 gold pieces for Karkoth. So I'm going to take a look at what they want to buy, then we'll put those units on the board, and then they're going to get to move. And yes, before I forget, we must move the leaders out of the dungeons. So our wizard here and our fighter beat that troll in the Vault of the Drow. They must move now to an adjacent space. And I think we're going to move them both over here to the capital, 1 space away. And then we have to restock the dungeon. And how we do that is we have to place 2 dungeon guardians back onto the space. So I'm going to put 2 here. So now the dungeon's a little bit tougher to plunder the next time. And that is that. So now we're going to get into the buy, the reinforcement phase, buy, place, and move new units. All right, so what Karkoth is going to buy is they're going to buy 1 dragon. This costs 5 gold. They're going to buy 1 hulking zombie, costs 3 gold to buy that, and each fighter costs 2 gold. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's their 12 gold spent. So let's go ahead now. We're going to place these units on the board at the castles, and they get to move immediately. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so placing units and moving them at the capital here for the undead units, the Karkoth throne holds. We are going to place the dragon, and the dragon can immediately move 3 spaces, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, park himself here, right next, of course, here to the Elven lands. And the other unit we're going to put there is we're going to put the Zombie Hulk monster here, and he is going to be able to move 2 spaces, which is going to be 1, 2, so he's coming down this way, also towards the Elven lands. All right, I'm going to reposition the camera. We're going to place the 2 leaders, the 2 fighters, and move them. All right, so I'm going to place the 2 fighters up here at the realm of the Gorgon King. This is not the capital, but you can place 4 units there. So the 2 fighters are going to go there, and they get to immediately move, and they can move 2 spaces. So we're going to move 1, 2 over here into this great gathering host, and the other leader is going to go 1, 2, and move here with this bunch of undead. All right, that is the reinforce, which is buy, place, move new pieces. Now we're at collect income, and how collecting income works is we look at each land space that Karkoth owns You don't have to have units on them, but you do have to be, it has to be your land. And we're going to add that up, and that's how many gold pieces Karkoth is going to get, and that's going to end their turn. So let me just zoom out. I will count up their spaces. I won't bother you by doing that on camera. And I'll tell you how much gold pieces they collect, and that's going to be it for Karkoth. They did a pretty good run. They scored 6 victory points for their alliance. And of course, the elves will be going next. So let me count up the spaces for gold, and we'll end off with the Karkoth turn. All right, the Karkoth spaces, land spaces, have all been added up, and that's going to net them a total of 19 gold for their next turn. So that's a pretty good haul. They were able to plunder a dungeon successfully, giving them the what the heck? They got the crystal ball out of it. They still have a bunch of cards that they haven't played, so they're in pretty good shape. They got a lot of units on the board, a couple of dragons now. And they managed to score 6 points for the alliance between themselves and the Iron Thrones. Of course, up next, we're going to have the Elves go, the Valen Alliance, the yellow player. They're going to see if they can push back the evil hordes of Undead and perhaps score some points for the alliance between elves and men. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Join me next time for the Valen Alliance. It'll be their turn. We're playing Conquest of Nerath. It's the Dungeons & Dragons board game from Wizards of the Coast. For 2 to 4 players, we're playing a 2-player alliance. All right, thanks so much for watching. Join me next time.